Good afternoon to you. This is Cliff Graves from Trainwell Boxing. What a lovely, glorious afternoon. Here, if you're in the UK, I'm presuming it's going to be even hotter in the Mediterranean and probably even hotter across the pond where our lovely American listeners reside. So I hope you've got a nice cold drink to hand. If that's a cold beer or cider, that's perfectly up to you. But I have got myself a lovely pint of ice cold Coke with some lemon in it. And it is delectable. Right, okay, enough said then. Is boxing really the most ultimate in self-defense? Before we tackle that, we've got to sort of like, and I know I have in previous audios, sort of like angled in on this one, but yeah, we do have to understand what we're talking about when we're referring to self-defense. So, does it mean you're the hardest fighter in the village? Whatever pub you're in, everyone's, oh, don't go near him. Don't go near him. Well, hard. CUNT. Don't go and don't get involved in him. Does it mean that in your personification of what self-defense is? Because if it does, just turn off now, because I don't really want you as listeners, to be honest with you, if you're that way inclined. That is almost akin to consensual violence. You're consenting with somebody. I'm 60 years of age next month, and I can tell you I have been that person in my 20s. When I stopped boxing, started to go to the pubs, I just fell apart. I didn't realize kind of what person I was becoming or had become. And it's drunken dribble. It's normally male pride. Anything it could be. Somebody's taken the piss out of you and it's gone a bit too far. And if you say, well, if you fucking think you're so fucking hard, let's go out and outside, out the back, and have a straightener. Now this pub, right, was one of those sort of pubs where even the landlord advocated that method. We're going back now into the early 90s, mid 90s. So a fair old while ago, I would say. The landlord would say, yeah, all right, you want some? Down in the cellar. And have a punch up with El Lado down in the cellar. We got on, me and this landlord, so we never crossed. All of that is consensual violence. And it's for mugs. You work hard all week. Friday night comes along, you're meeting the lads. Saturday nights was always out with the girlfriends. Friday night was always with the lads, always to the the disco, because they called them disco pubs in them days. And all the other lads would be doing the same thing, and you'd end up having drunken brawls with each other, mainly through pride. That is consenting violence. That is not what we are talking about here. Sure, you could go to the pub and somebody's just starting on you. You might have driven out to a little country pub somewhere or something. I don't know, something like that. And, you know, I never used to drink and drive. Ever. Never did it. Never did it. I couldn't see the point. Oh, you can have 1 point. 1.4. In them days, my mentality was. You know, and you can have somebody start on you when you're sober, okay? And there's no way out of this other than to leave. So you try to leave and they pick up a glass ashtray and try and smash it over your head. Well, that then becomes non-consensual violence. And that is the essence of true self-defense. Now, what British law says is that non-consensual violence you can preemptively strike the assailant. Now, I'm talking very slowly and concentrating what I'm saying to you, because there are many loopholes, pit holes to all of this. And I am not a criminal barrister, so I don't know that. And then I think you've got to exercise common sense and understand that if you've knocked somebody out with a right hook, that there will be police involvement. Wherever an ambulance is called, you can bet your bottom dollar the flatfoots are going to be there. And they will look, they will get witness statements, they will look at CCTV, they will look at even mobile phone footage, and they will decide, could you have avoided the situation? Is it borderline consensual, non-consensual violence? Is it? And you know what? A lot of situations in pubs and nightclubs sadly will not be non-consensual violence, but violence. Okay? If you've drunk 10 pints of lager and you're claiming self-defense, and you struck somebody with a preemptive strike, nobody knows the circumstances, because circumstances would differ dramatically. Nobody knows the circumstances because they will be different in every situation. But I think you would be on a bit of a slippery wicket, claiming it was self-defense, claiming you had all your faculties about you, claiming you was acting not unreasonably when you've had a skinful of 10 pints of lager. This is why certain pubs and clubs should be completely avoided. Completely. They are very dangerous places, very dangerous places indeed. Because of that fact, male pride and drunkenness do not mix in a disco pub on a Friday night. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry to tell you that. I feel like a killjoy because I've been there. I've tasted that type of life. And I can tell you from experience, sadly, there has been run-ins with the law that I've had exactly as I've described. So I can tell you from experience, avoid those type of situations. All right, so what about then if it's not in the pub? And we are coming to the boxing bit, I promise you. But this does need to be discussed, right? So please bear with me. What happens if you're not in a pub? Well, when can you get attacked? When can you get attacked? Again, I say with extreme sorrow and regret, sadly, unfortunately, those type of ambush attacks are what females will succumb to. And if you could see me now, as I say this, I am so just ashamed of how males can be. So, you know, you've then got to think to yourself, well, how do you counter that? And it's via situational awareness and the art of not be there. I don't want to go into all of that because I have met some female fighters that are more deadlier than the male. I can tell you that. Believe that. But that is all part of self-defense, isn't it? Not being there, using situational awareness. I remember one guy. So that was just a job shaking, got a hat on it because he's had an operation on his ear. Anyway, I was doing an actually NVQ course in security down at the illustrious Butlins South Coast, and that was, let's say, back in the mid 90s down at Bognor Regis. and he was telling me that he used to be a lorry driver, and things were different in them days. They're not like that now, as I understand. But anyway, he broke down in a very rough part of Glasgow, and it was after 10 p.m. in the night. He broke down in a lorry. And he just used situational awareness to ask for directions and to use the phone and this and that and all the rest of it, keep himself safe. He had the options. I think there was 2 pubs, loud disco pubs to go in. He thought, not a good idea with an English accent, because in them days it was quite territorial in certain parts of the country. So he went into the petrol station, and there was a beautiful Asian gentleman there that helped him out. So he used situational awareness, and that's what we should do, right? That's what we should do. Even better not being there, but I mean, if you're a lorry driver and it's part of your job, and just an act of God, something happens to your vehicle, it's just fated and pretty hard luck, really, sort of thing. So you're using all of that to absolutely avoid violence. Okay. Now we're going to get on to the bit where you just haven't got any opportunity. You just really haven't. You've used art of not be there, situational awareness. You're unlucky. You're unlucky. Well, in situations like that, the question is, now, have they got a gun, shotgun, something like that? Have they got a hammer, knife? How many of them is there? Are they carrying something they can throw in their face? Sulfuric acid. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere that you can pick up anything on the street, where you just love to see a lump of wood, wouldn't you? Thank you, God. Thank you. None of that. It's a situation where you've got to hit first, and you've got to hit hard, and you've got to hit quickly, and you've got to hit accurately, and you've got to hit powerfully. This is real serious end shit. Well, this is where boxing comes in. There's none of the things with the boxing gloves on the hand wraps or anything like that. Okay, no gum shields in, mouth shields or mouth guards, whatever you want to call them. None of that. Your hands aren't bandages. You haven't got a referee there. You haven't got ropes to punch the person into. This is literally do or die situation. But when it bam, 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 it's over. Before you know it. Fight over. That is the power of professional boxing. That is the power of boxing. The ability to hit fast, hard, and accurately. That is why Boxing is, in my opinion, the most ultimate in self-defense. You know, you hit first, you hit hard, you hit quickly, you hit accurately to stop the threats. To stop the threats. Okay. And then you do the 400-meter dash as quick as you can, or whatever the situation is. I don't know, but you might be able to call for help, run into somebody's house for shelter. It's a situation that has got so many variables. It's not really worth talking about, is it? It's hitting first in that extreme, non-consensual, violent situation to end the threat. That is your that is your prerogative. You want to end the situation. You feared for your life, or your hope this never would be, but you feared for your family's situation. You could be abroad somewhere, you know, and the law does say, yeah, you are given the right to hit first. And that is why boxing is such a good format of self-defense. Now, before all the martial art Nazis and combative Nazis getting, oh, what about elbows? What about headbutt? What about finger jab? Blah, blah, blah. What about a kick to the ground? Blah, 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 and all the rest of it. Yeah. Oh, that's good. But you've got to remember, listen to me, got to remember that we are all on the same side. Any decent combatives exponent, right, is going to be on the same side of reason as you or I. They're not going to be wanting, oh, combatives is better than boxing, or karate is better than boxing, or kung fu is better than boxing, or MMA. It doesn't, or Thai boxing, judo even, because of leg sweeps and all that, blah, blah, blah. Listen to me. We are all on the same side. Okay? It matters tiddly boo. If you do it differently, because you're a combatives exponent, it matters tiddly boo. Admittedly, combatives will train for that situational, situation, mock-ups and trials and all that sort of thing. But, you know, this is something that's immediate, that's preemptive, that's quick, to finish the threat, to keep you safe, because you had no alternative. All bets were off. You tried to talk it down. You tried even to run away. You couldn't run away. There was no way of running away. You'd done nothing to provoke in any way, shape, or form. You'd used situational awareness. The art of not being, all of it. And it's going to kick off. Then you have to use force to stop the threat. But let me tell you this, right? I would say 99.99999% of the time, in actual fact, true self-defense is the art of not being there. Because if you ain't there, it isn't going to kick off, or you don't have a chance of being ambushed or attacked. If you're that female and you come out of a nightclub and you're with 3 of your mates, stick with the 3 of your mates. Don't separate off. Don't do that. Use a cab firm, a taxi firm that you've got an account with. Tell you what, there's some very, very good all ladies cab firms, taxi firms that you could open an account with and say, right, okay, well, look, the 3 of us have gone to a nightclub. I don't care if it's, I don't know who you women think males is good looking, George Clooney or something, I don't know, look-alike that's chatted you up in the nightclub. And I'm picking my words carefully here, what I say, but I know people want fun and all the rest of it. But you have to make a pact. If there's even 2 of you going out, you have to make a pact that if there's going to be any of that, that will happen another time. And if the man's interested, he will contact. And that is how you can keep yourself safe. So you go back to one house. It's a sleepover. Yeah. You do it. The parents are going to have to put up with it. But at least the parents, if you're still living at home with your parents, at least they have the peace of mind that their little girl. I don't mean that to sound condescending. But any dad that's got a 19, 20, 21-year-old girl daughter is going to say she's still my little girl when if I'm still alive and she's in her 50s, she's still my little girl. She'll always be my little girl to my dying day. And you do that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? Consensual and non-consensual violence are 2 different animals completely. Depending on who you are, where you're from, if you're from Malaysia or Indonesia, then Silat, training in Silat may well really, really, really suit you. If you're from Okinawa, karate, brought up, Okinawan karate, goju-ryu, whatever, might really, really favour you. If you're an American, the MMA scene, because of, it seems a lot of our lovely listeners across the pond are fucking adept amateur wrestlers, really, really a bit good. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? We are all on the same side, whether you're a boxer or a judokai or an aikido kai. It doesn't matter. Kung fu, karate, combatives, it doesn't matter. What matters is the type of person you are. And if you are one that just does not want violence in their lives, go and enjoy your boxercise class. Go and enjoy doing your weights. Get fulfillment out of doing the running, the skipping or whatever. Okay? So I think that this is long enough. Everybody, you would have done well if you stuck with me for nearly half an hour. I hope I've made it meaty in parts and entertaining. I was going to say fun, but talking about consensual and non-consensual violence, and boxing being, in my opinion, the ultimate art of non-consensual violence, it's a bit heavy, isn't it? But I hope you have a lovely afternoon out in the sun. Don't get sunburnt. This is Cliff Grays from Trainwell Boxing. Ciao for now.